I want revenge, but I gotta watch over your 10. Plus I got two myself, can't raise them from inside of a pen. I miss pulling up, seeing you grin. Even in disagreements, always prayed on seeing you win.
Alright y'all, we back with another one. Today we gonna talk about Danya Adams and Angela Deneen Farmer, aka Duke and Angie. Rest in peace.
A long-standing feud between Corey Twyman and Richard Grantham began on Christmas Day in 1996, when both individuals were incarcerated at the Ferris School. Grantham, who had behavioral problems, was normally isolated from the general inmate population. Twyman and other inmates at Twyman's table apparently gave Grantham mean looks and made threatening gestures toward him. Grantham responded by throwing a food tray at Twyman, spilling juice on him. While the guards restrained Grantham, Twyman calmly and coolly informed Grantham that it was not over and that he would get him, Grantham, in the world. The feud continued after Grantham and Twyman were released from the detention facility. On July 1st, 1997, Flannery, who was then 18 years old, Twyman, who was then 15, and several others, were hanging out in the street in Bethel Village when Grantham drove by in a car with Dwayne Warren and Danya Duke Adams. While the car was stopped at a red light, Grantham saw Twyman, Twyman's brother Norell, and Flannery nearby. Twyman picked up a bottle and threw it at Grantham's car. Grantham drove off through the red light to the west side. Of Wilmington, where Adams retrieved his handgun. After getting the handgun, Grantham, Adams, and Warren drove to the area twice. Twyman, who by this time had returned to this area, spotted Grantham in the car. Twyman and several others, including Flannery, approached the car. Twyman then struck Grantham in the head with a bottle while Grantham was being pulled from the car. Adams responded by firing several shots into the group that gathered around the car. One of the shots struck Twyman in the arm. Another shot passed through Flannery's clothes, barely missing him but leaving him unharmed. A third shot hit a car belonging to Flannery's mother that was parked near the intersection. Several of Flannery's nieces and nephews, as well as his girlfriend, were sitting in the car at the time of the shooting. When the Wilmington police arrived at the scene, neither Flannery, Twyman, nor Flannery's relatives informed the police that Adams was the shooter. For the next several weeks, Twyman expressed a desire to retaliate against Adams and the West Side Boys for the shooting. On July 13, 1997, Flannery and Twyman decided to seek revenge for the July 1st shooting. Shortly before midnight, Twyman and Flannery got a ride to the west side of Wilmington with Lionel Moose Robinson. Robinson was a gypsy, an unlicensed taxi driver who gave rides in his red Chevrolet Cavalier in exchange for money or drugs. After circling the area around 6th and Madison Streets, Twyman spotted Adams and instructed Robinson to park at 6th and Washington Streets. Twyman and Flannery left the car and asked Robinson to wait for them to return. The two then proceeded through an alleyway and entered the 600 block of Jefferson Street. Danya Duke Adams, Dwayne Warren, Deshaun Dewey Scott, and Angela Farmer were seated on chairs and on an old television set in the road near the intersection of 6th and Jefferson Streets. The four heard shots fired. They realized that they were the target of those shots when they observed sparks from bullets hitting the ground near them. Farmer, who was 17 years old at the time, was hit 3 times and fell dead from a fatal shot to the chest. Dewey managed to flee the scene. Adams, who was 18 years old, was struck by 2 bullets. Warren, after being struck by 2 bullets in the leg, tried to carry Adams behind a car after Adams had been shot. Adams yelled out, "That nigga box," before succumbing to his injuries that turned out to be fatal. Corey Twyman was originally given life in prison without the benefit of parole on a first-degree murder conviction and additional sentences on other charges in 1999. However, Twyman was resentenced in 2014. His sentence was adjusted to 25 years for first-degree murder and 15 years for second-degree murder. Freddie Flannery was convicted of 2 first-degree murders, an attempted murder, and associated felony weapon charges. In his first first trial, he received a death sentence, which was later reversed on appeal. In February 2004, a jury again convicted Flannery. After conducting a penalty hearing on July 22, 2004, the Superior Court judge found that the mitigating factors outweighed the aggravating factors and sentenced Flannery to life in prison on both first-degree murder convictions, to a third term of life imprisonment for the attempted murder conviction, and to a total of 60 years incarceration on the remaining convictions.
I want to take this time right here to give a rest in peace and send my condolences to the families of Angie Farmer, aka Angie, and Danya Adams, aka Duke. May they both rest in peace.